Yeah, yeah. And I burned that channel. Sinister grifters with a snake oil grin. Voracious virtue signalers cashing in. False PIs, they're fixing the game. Pointing fingers, but they're all the same. Innocent creators, moms with a cause. Digging through the chaos, exposing the flaws. We're hunting for clues, untwisting the lies. Who's driving this shit show straight to demise? Convertibles roaring, cliffs in sight. Like Thelma and Louise on a forever ride. They sail into YouTube fame, the crash is in sight. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels in the dust. Or it'll burn their channels in the dust. Dust. That'll burn their channels in the dust. Spark that'll burn their channels in the dust. Dust. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. What's in the dust? The dust. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels in the dust.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are doing absolutely great. What is today? Today is Tuesday, May the 27th. And this is not part of my 3 Intersect dissertative deep dive. This is a snippet. This is just a little morsel, a snack, if you will, to the saga of Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And I finally, I just had enough, right? I just had enough of all of Christopher's mafiosa friends attacking the people that were just trying to have a conversation about the peculiarities of the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. For example, have you guys heard that law enforcement verified that Sebastian was in the car with Katie returning home after the Texas Roadhouse? Let's call it the Last Supper, shall we? I mean, if we're gonna be gangster, let's just do it. All right. So the Last Supper, the Texas Roadhouse video. There were questions. Many people it said, did he make it home? Even like a lot of people felt that Sebastian, somewhere between the Last Supper to the home, he goes somewhere else. He and Katie part ways, if you will. And there were peculiar things that happened at the Texas Roadhouse, correct? Like, Christopher Proudfoot's stepsister showing up for an exchange between the two cars that Steve Fisher says it was an old dude. That is, for me, that's YouTube classic. That's YouTube classic. Oh, it was an old dude. Katie was confronted with an old dude. I mean, he stopped short of saying the old dude with Parkinson's who had a walker and a cane and hair was falling out behind him as he walked, like, Hansel and Gretel in the breadcrumbs, right? I mean, Steve Fisher's portrayal of this encounter, this very bizarre encounter at their car as they're leaving, is an old dude. He's crippled. He can't walk. Katie stands back to let the old dude get between the cars. I mean, it's a good, great story. Definitely relatable. We could all deal with that, right? If we were trying to get to our car, we saw quotation marks, an old dude trying to walk through the cars, we would stand back and make way, correct? We would smile. We'd say, oh, good evening. And the old dude would say, oh my gosh, excuse me. And we would be like, oh, don't worry about it. Here, let me help you. I'll get the door, right? We can all relate to that moment, okay? The problem was that it wasn't an old dude. Stephen Fisher, you big liar. Stephen Fisher is the hired liar. I challenge you to say that 3 times, okay? Stephen Fisher was little more than a hired, purchased liar. He was, in fact, a mouthpiece, a horrible mouthpiece for Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And so he says, oh, it was an old dude. And we later found out that, in fact, no, it wasn't an old dude. It was a woman, and middle-aged, little, maybe moving into her older years. And we could clearly see that it was a smaller woman, and she was able to walk, and she looked funny walking because she got short legs. And then, shocker of all shocks, it's Christopher Proudfoot's stepsister. Oh, no. Jules, that's been debunked. Oh, hell no, it hadn't been. My eyeballs, my brain, I can see. I don't need anyone to interpret for me what my eyes are looking at. All right? So unless Christopher Proudfoot's stepsister has a twin somewhere, we know exactly who that woman was, who, in a very curious way, died. Christopher, your story, like your legend, is getting surprisingly similar to Hillary Clinton's, if you don't mind me saying. Seems like a lot of missing or dead people are around you, Christopher. What's that about? Okay. Bad luck, right? Just bad luck. All right. So the Last Supper, we are told, because Eric Craddock, did he go to school with Chris Proudfoot? Is there Bowersox money being given to certain campaigns? Would Eric Craddock have a motivation to look the other way in the case of a terrible accident? I don't know. Your decision. I'm sure I don't know the answer to that. And so the story came out because many of us said maybe Sebastian never made it home that night. And I can tell you from my personal experience, the reason that I thought, and I'm not sure if I continue. I think I don't believe that he made it home. Okay. I think I don't believe that, but you can tell how hesitant I am. There are some very good theories in my mind that would account for the fact that any manner of dogs, listen, I'm going to tell you something straight up. Okay. Bloodhounds are the bomb. Bloodhounds are the goat when it comes to searching for human beings. In fact, they can't even use a bloodhound when they're looking for someone who may be deceased. And the reason they can't use them is because the smell of decay is so unpleasant and noxious for the dogs that they will move away from the smell and then begin to circle. They may be doing an arc that's 2 miles away from the actual location of the person, the deceased. their noses are so sensitive. We saw confusion in the bloodhound that was searching Barry Morphew's property. That dog experienced confusion. They started at the bicycle, which the dog had no interest in the bicycle, didn't care at all about the bicycle. But what the dog did do is it went straight for the water, and then it crossed over going up to the house. Right? So that's everything I need to know. Bloodhounds have my full faith. Okay, they are amazing. So when you hear that there were multiple bloodhounds at the Proudfoot home, and these dogs didn't pick up a scent, they didn't pick up distress. Why is it? I mean, I am really going to censor myself and not go all the way with this, but you're going to get my point. Why is it that 3 dogs out of 12, 14 dogs, 3 dogs did track from the Morphew house up to the retention pond where Max, Belgian Malinois, he jumps into the water, right? Was there a foot chase? Was somebody running away? And they jumped in the water because that's kind of people's instinct to try to escape? Could that be a part of this? The thing that I thought was so interesting is that the dog followed a scent, meaning there was some emotional turmoil, right? So the dog is picking up on these stress hormones, these pheromones. But the dog doesn't track scent. Like they give the dog Sebastian's items that has his distinctive scent on it. And the tracking dogs don't go anywhere. Listen, guys, they did not even walk from the trash cans down to the road, down the sidewalk, down the driveway. So this kid lives in this house for years, takes the trash out the night before. They have fresh clothes to give the tracking dog the scent. And those dogs don't find Sebastian's scent going down the driveway? Why? So I've been saying the lack of evidence, that is not a cry for innocence. The lack of evidence is in fact evidence of what? A cover-up. You damn well ought to have scent around your house where you live. If you go outside and you mess around, the dog should be able to smell you, especially a bloodhound, right? So there's things that are just curious about this whole case and the lies that have been told, not just by Christopher Proudfoot, but by his paid mouthpiece. The lies are astronomical and incredible even. And I'm in the process of presenting the 3 intersects, right? I took a month, I reviewed everything, I turned all of these people and events into variables and looked for interaction. Is there something statistically notable about certain changes at certain times? And 3 stand out. And I've done the first one, correct? That the first one being Tony Mathis brought on board Nina Glass and Stephen Crabtree. Nina Glass took the money, the YouTube Sebastian Rogers donated GoFundMe for searchers. She took the money under the auspices that she was going to get her truck fixed and make the drive from Texas to Tennessee to help Tony. She took the money and she disappeared. That hurt Seth Rogers horribly. I don't mean him personally. I mean the support of people for Seth Rogers was damaged. Stephen Crabtree came on and, I got my drones and I'm helping Tony and Seth and I'm out there and I'm making it happen and look at me. And then he says, not working for Seth anymore. They're saying that we're going to search. We never do. It's been 3 weeks. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to work with certified searchers. And then he jumps in the middle of the damn bed with Cletus included, figuratively speaking. In that short period of time, there was an incredible amount of damage that was done to the support that up to that point, Seth had enjoyed. That's the first intersect. Okay. I'll be going and doing the second intersect, but not in this video. This video is a snack. It's a little morsel of information that I find absolutely fascinating. I was, let me take this snarky little, whoops, wrong thumbnail. Let me take this down. All right. So we're going to, this first interview is fascinating. And this is a little bit that I just saw this morning that I never noticed before, right? And the only reason that it even came to my attention is because someone said, have you seen the analysis that was done by Chris McDonough and Steve Johnson on the Sebastian Rogers case? And I was like, actually, no, that's something I didn't see. So I started about 4:00 this morning and I started listening to it. I was dumbfounded by this. My ears did not discern this. I mean, I've been through this interview so many times. I have no idea how many, but I didn't notice this, but Chris McDonough did. Chris McDonough notices it, stops the recording, calls it out. Steve Johnson's like, okay, weird. And I felt like they didn't, I mean, obviously they did a great job, but I felt like, I don't think they heard it the way that I heard it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then I'm going to give you kind of the way that my brain is hearing this, and then I want to see what you guys think, okay? I've got it set fast. Let me slow it down. We're going to slow down. All right, it's at 0.75 speed.
It's Lamaze breathing, right? Pamp, pamp, blow.
Yeah, there you go.
So interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
Did he said while we were on the phone, I was there? I'm going to back that up for a second.
Back that up.
Interesting, right?
While we were
911.
All right.
Listen.
So at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
Did he said while we were on the phone, I was there?
Yeah.
So at that point, is that
So I was breathing, right?
Okay,
Pamp,
so
pamp, blow.
Thank
There you
you,
go.
Chris.
So
my brain never discerned that. I'd never heard that. And then when you guys called it out, I was like, what? So here's what I think is important in terms of extrapolating that and sort of theorizing about what he was saying. You can't make it out. I've sped it up. I've slowed it down. I've changed the sound, the tone. You can't. You can't. He just sort of blurs his words together. So it's just a noise, right? But listen, here's the key to this. Listen to the question that is asked by the interviewer. The question is what's going to guide you to the oh shit moment. Okay? Listen to the question and then listen to his answer. Because that's the key to understanding this was a huge screw up. Sorry, Christopher Proudfoot. Got to do it, man. You have earned this. When you go on people's channels and you advocate for, what was it, Chris? Starting a shotgun, I believe. Or how about assaulting a quotation marks fat baby? Or what about when you advocated for the group assault on a female YouTube creator? You earn this, Chris Proudfoot.
Interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911?
Okay, so at that point when you called 911, is that the point you called 911? Right? You hear her. Is that the point? You go in to wake him up. He's not there. Is that the point when you called 911? Now, what do we know about 911? 911 happened as a three-way call. Katie's in the car driving around doing God knows what. I have thoughts of Letitia Stout in my head. Chris is supposedly on a crane off, doing God's work at St. Jude's, right? Is this the moment you called 911? Listen to this answer. Is this the moment you called 911? Listen to Chris.
Or what's going through your mind?
We were on.
We were on the phone. What, Chris? What?
911, or what's going through your mind?
We were on the phone.
We were on the phone. Okay, what the hell is it, Chris? Katie was on the phone? Is that what's happening here? Maybe not with 911, though I'm sure the phone records would reveal who she was talking to, correct? We were on the phone. I mean, I'm not making this up.
Pant blow.
Yeah, there you go.
So interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
We were on the phone, and I was like.
Is that the point that you called 911? Well, she was calling 911. Right? You could almost finish that sentence. Well, she was calling 911 while I was looking. Was that the reality? Is that what really happened that morning, Chris? I mean, I know the whole ruse about how you were there and she was there and everybody was in different places and driving around and calling your friend, Eric Craddock or whoever, the back channels. Chris, you never made clear who were the back channels because Eric Craddock was not sheriff at the time. He was a lowly deputy. Is that who you called? Hey, man, we got a problem over here. We had a terrible accident last night. It was awful. Katie, Sebastian got in a big fight. He fell, he hit his head. He's got a pre-existing medical problem. It was awful. What are we going to do? My wife said deserved to go to prison forever because it was just an accident. Just a boy that was out of control. We need help. What do we do? Don't worry, Chris. I know what to do. I'll handle everything. Is that exactly how it played out or some variation?
So interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
Well, we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the
What do you guys think? Right, YouTuber? You're just sitting there going, what in the world was that? Well, the question was, is that when you call 911? That is a very specific question asking for a very specific answer moment in time. That question would have taken them to an exact moment in their memory, correct? So Chris is describing that moment. Well, she was on the phone. And then he edits himself. Oh, no, wait, we were on the phone. Oh my God. We were on the phone. We were on the phone. That isn't what happened at all, is it, Chris? You still think I'm full of it? You still think that that's not what's happening here? Watch this. Hold my beer. Now, when you listen to this, because now you know what the question is that when you call 911? You know what Chris's answer was. Well, she was calling 911 while I was looking on the other side of the bed, right? Hold my beer. I don't want you to watch Chris. When I play this time, watch Katie and pay attention to her body language. She answers this interviewer's question. This interviewer says, is that when you called 911? Watch Katie's body language. Watch Katie answer the question.
All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
Oh, really? Is that right, Katie? That's when you called 911? Okay. Man. Okay. So little teeny morsel of facts, right? Facts. And at this point, has anybody not accept the realities of the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? But we're gonna power through. We're gonna keep going. Okay. I am curious. What do you guys think of this moment? What do you guys think of this moment when the interviewer says, and is that when you called 911? And Katie shakes her head yes. What do you think of that? Oh, thank you, Mark Klein. Mark Klein is instructing everyone to hit the thumbs up, do the YouTube thing, and subscribe, please, especially if you want to hear the other two Intersects. What's Nanny's point? Oh yeah, maybe. But I really want to stick to just only what we just saw. What is your opinion on this interviewer saying, is that when you called 911? And Katie shakes her head yes. What do you think? Hey, Maritza. Butterflies Are Free. Factory Girl, Vicky Carpenter. Brenda Sue. Selena Dixon, good to see you. Sketty Nona, my friend. Vicky, good to see you. Lisa Faulkner. Connie Branch. Boss Lady. Nana Flower Power, welcome, my friend. Rosebud. Mamo. Mamo's here, folks. Zelda, you're here. Welcome, my friend. Nanny of 8, welcome. I most definitely believe he messed up and he was there. She called. What do you guys think? Look at that, Zelda. Everybody's so happy you're here. You're one of the OGs, girl. Yeah, still confused? I wonder, Mark Klein, what do you think about this? Hey, Ashley, I think they didn't want people to know that they didn't call 911 in the beginning. Oh, yeah. Like we've got a missing gap of time, right? A significant amount of time between the storyline of when she got up to get Sebastian to go to school versus when the phone call was actually made or not. And the cover for that was, oh, we called on the back channel. Or did you just call Eric Craddock himself, Chris? You just call his personal phone number? Is that the supposed back channel? Simple words being used. Whoops. Simple words being used in such a confused way. We, she, there, yes, no, either done purposely or script forgotten. Oh, I absolutely believe that it's leakage, right? I think it's absolutely that the brain knows the truth and the brain is very uncomfortable with lies and it pushes for equilibrium. Never forget Barry Morphew. Never forget Barry Morphew. Oh, Suzanne. Whoever has you, we just want you back. We just love you so much. And the whole time this creature is speaking, his head is going left to right, to left to right, to left to right. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I look like a fool. No, no, no. I'm trying to appeal to a woman that I know will never come home again. No, no, I don't like this. No, no, no. Shake it off, Barry. Just shake off that icky, gross, yucky feeling that your brain is creating by saying, Barry, you're a liar. And the whole world knew you were lying, Barry. Just like this. Is that when you call 911 and Katie shakes her head? Yes. Chris follows up with words going, well, she was on the phone. And then, a tragedy occurred, right? The real sheriff has a terrible accident while alone in a cabin. He just falls over backwards and hits his head and dies just like that. Strangest event, wasn't it? And at this point now, when you go back and you listen to these interviews, you want to know what Eric's crying refrain is. You know what he says? Oh, nothing's going to happen unless you are with law enforcement, and it's law enforcement that I know. You know what that means? What you want to know what that translates to, Chris? It translates to, if I lie in front of Eric Craddock and the boys, then I'll be okay. They're the protectors. But I better not speak around other law enforcement, like the FBI, should we say? What about state attorney's office? What about that one? State Attorney's Office? Seth Rogers just came out on the news and said that when he reached out to the U.S. Marshal's Office to find here recently to find out if they would be willing to investigate the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers to help this group of yahoos being run by a child, Eric Craddock. When he reached out to them asking for help, you know what they said? Seth, we already asked them. We contacted Sheriff Craddock and said we would like to help. We would like to assist you in this investigation for this kid. We want to help you. And do you know what Eric Craddock said? No, thank you. No, thanks. We don't need you. We know what we're doing. You ought to be furious. You ought to be disgusted by what the sheriff's department is doing. And look, the majority of us, we come from small town America. The majority of us we were not born and raised in a metropolitan area, not really even in a suburban area. About 70% of people over the age of 50 actually grew up in towns with less than 15,000 people in them. We know what small town America was, right? The town that I grew up in, we literally had 400 people. I think it was 417 on the little sign when you drive through town. It's got the town name on it. 417. We had to drive 35 minutes to get to the big city. You want to know what the big city was? 5,000 people. When I say I grew up in the sticks, I'm not kidding. Okay. We know the types of scandalous behavior that gets covered up by, the good old boys. They got a great little club going on. They help each other out. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. See you down at the American Legion hut on Sunday for dinner. All right? Is that what we're looking at here? This is the good old boys club? Hey, I helped you out, Chris. I need you to help me out now, buddy. And like it or not, the Good Old Boys Club runs on, the wheels are greased by whoever has the money. So if you are in the Good Old Boys Club and you have the good fortune of having gotten an inheritance, or you're educated and you were able to make some money as a young person, then you become king of the county. And whatever you want to do, people will hide it for you. Oh, in the flesh, Belinda. And what about that big ass, disgusting, what's his name? Danny? Is that Big D? What about that joker following people around when they were searching for Sebastian? What was that? There's eyes everywhere. There's eyes everywhere. They're watching all the time. Why do they need eyes everywhere? Can someone answer that question? Why do you need people driving around watching those that are searching? Why do you need that? Very strange, right? Very strange. Carter is Sumner County Sheriff's Office. This is Sumner County. This has been headed up by Sumner County. Katie, is this when you called 911? Uh-huh. Yeah. And then Chris is going, well, she was calling 911. She was on the phone. I was looking on the other side of the bed. Why are you looking on the other side of the bed? Man, this case just boils my blood.
Mind. While we were on the phone.
She was on the phone. Oh, well, we were on the phone. Listen to how he edits himself. He didn't completely change the entire meaning of the statement. He's going, well, she's calling 911. Oh, wait. We called 911. Oh, wait, no, we didn't. Oh, shit. No, we didn't. Okay, well, let me just change the whole damn thing. This is ridiculous. You're ridiculous, Christopher Proudfoot.
Can't blow.
There you go.
So interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
He completely changed it. You putz. Chris Proudfoot, you put knocker.
One, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
Did he said while we were on the phone, I was there? I'm going to back that up for a second. He said,
Call 911.
all right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
I cannot get over Katie answering in the affirmative. She answers yes. That's when I call 911. Chris says she's on the phone. And then watch her face when he begins to fumble over his words, trying to cover and trying to get back on the narrative. She's listening to him. She's learning. She knows she screwed up. This is a really important moment. This is really something.
So interesting. All right.
Watch Katie.
So at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
And see how she starts to answer? Man, I wish Chris would have shut the hell up. I wish he would have been quiet and let her answer. No telling what might have come out of her mouth. But don't disregard how big this is. This is absolute proof that they are liars. Absolutely. And I'm still interested in your apartment, Chris Proudfoot. Still want to know about your little apartment. Right, Stephen Crabtree?
All right. Pamp, blow.
There you go.
So interesting. All right.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
Did he said while we were on the phone, I was there?
He's not answering her question. He's trying to cover that they got all messed up on their story, on their scripted narrative, right? They got messed up. They got off track, and he doesn't know how to recover. He also likely, I don't know this to be fact, but he likely isn't aware that Katie's sitting there shaking her head. Yeah, that's when I called 911. He probably doesn't know that either. But I guess he does now after watching this, right? Let me go ahead and let that play on too.
Or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed?
Did he said while we were on the phone, I was there? I'm going to back that up for a second.
Back that up. Yeah.
Did I mishear that? Yeah.
One, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone and I was like, is he on the other?
What was that?
Look at him. I know.
That's a really good question.
They're both like, okay, this is really uncomfortable, but we can't put our finger on what made it so weird. Like, what was that? Well, that's what it was. The question was, is this when you call 911? Katie says yes. Chris says, well, she was calling 911. He catches himself. He goes, no. Wait a minute. I can't say that because Katie's got to be in the car when she calls 911. Wait a minute. What am I going to say? We didn't call 911. We called Eric. So you can see him stumbling and fumbling, trying to get there, trying to get back on the scripted narrative. They almost lost it right here. But Katie absolutely says, yes, this is when we called 911. And part of me wonders, was there a fight? Was there an argument? Chris backhanded Sebastian, made Sebastian go flying across the room. Katie says, oh my God. And she picks up the phone to call 911. And then Chris says, put the phone down. What are you doing? Because it was really 30 minutes later before 911, 911 was never called. Never called. But it was like 30 minutes later when he supposedly called, who I think he called Eric Craddock. I don't know. But I think if there were to be a trial, I think it would be Eric Craddock's phone bill that would show the phone call was made to him. You see, Eric is not just protecting Chris and Katie, the Bauer Sox political donations. He's protecting himself. He was a deputy at the time. He wasn't the sheriff. So he's got skin in the game, dude. Don't you, Eric? Eric the man, not Sheriff Craddock. Eric the man has skin in the game. The very ambitious young Eric has skin in the game. This is dirty. This is filthy, dirty stuff.
Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Maybe I'm hearing something that
McDonough.
I want to hear, maybe, but everybody else weigh in. Just listen to tell me what you hear.
When you call 911, or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be. And
I can't make that one out for sure.
Can't make it out. Yeah.
But notice how Steve Johnson and Chris McDonough, they know it's wrong, right? They know that there's something not right in the moment. They think, did he say they were on the phone? Like they couldn't figure it out, but there is no question what happened here. No question about it.
So, yeah,
it wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department.
Immediately after that,
are you sure, Chris? Immediately after that, you called the sheriff's department? See, that's what I told you. They got off script, and they're struggling to get back onto their constructed story. But remember, on America's Most Wanted just weeks ago, they got Katie in her damn car mimicking that morning where she gets in her car and she's frantically driving around the neighborhood screaming Sebastian's name, right? The phone call to the sheriff's department did not happen while they were in the house upon the moment of discovery. It was 30 minutes later. And now we have video where we can see Katie's car as she says she was driving through the neighborhood frantically calling Sebastian's name. Katie, with the windows rolled up? That's not why you were out in the neighborhood, is it?
And now he joins the conversation, meaning he joins the event.
Right. Yeah. that we is very strong, just like you said.
It is.
He's in it.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting that he only puts himself in it after Sebastian is missing. Before that, she was in it. He kind of left her on her own, and now he's in it, and he said after that we immediately called 911, and that word immediately is not necessary to say. Nobody would have thought to ask.
True, Steve.
We typically don't think to ask. Did you immediately call? Because this is a missing 15-year-old autistic kid who, I mean, there's real reasons to be concerned that he's missing.
They did not immediately call. It was 30 minutes later. I don't even think they called. They never called 911. Okay, never called 911. They made a phone call to a friend at the back channels at the sheriff's department. It's my guess that it was Eric Craddock. I don't know. I have no way of knowing that because I don't know these people. Don't know them, never talked to them, My guess is based on just their very public behavior since then. Seems like they're much closer. The families are much closer than just simply, oh, we need a cop. Please help. Right? All right. So that is the morsel of true crime. Oh, yeah. What did he call? What was that, Zelda? Oh, it's a snuggle struggle. In case you guys haven't heard, the good sheriff of Sumner County actually called RAPE. He called it a snuggle struggle. Yeah. And here's another problem real quick. The time frame between the Last Supper and then taking the trash down to the curb, right? We're told Sebastian made it home, that he was in the car and that he's on camera taking the trash bin down to the road. Now, Seth saw the security footage and he said, you can't make it out. You can't tell who that is. There is someone who brings down the trash bin, but you don't have there's no discernment. You can't see exactly who it is. It's just sort of like a blob, right? You can't really tell. Eric Craddock says, no. We verified Sebastian was in the car when they pulled up at the house. You verified it. Okay. How did you verify it? Well, something was recording in the car. Now, listen to this. He says, Sebastian is seen pulling into the driveway in the back seat. What's wrong with that verification? Hey, Poppy Love. Hey, Lori, Lolo. Sebastian was verified in the back seat pulling into the driveway? What's wrong with that? Because Sebastian clearly gets into the front seat at the Texas Roadhouse. He gets in the front seat. When he arrives to the Texas Roadhouse, he's in the front seat. Right? He absolutely gets in the front seat. I verified it before I went live. All right. Thank you, Rochelle Black. Absolutely. All right, you guys. So if you enjoyed this little morsel of truth, put a 1. If you think that it's hogwash, put a 2. Vera lied. Exactly, Zelda. And yes, he did. And the back windows are tinted. Well, and I considered that, Patty. Thank you for that information. I did consider that. But then I went back to them describing it, and what they're saying is that she had a recording device inside the vehicle. And I thought, well, maybe she has to blow to start the car, like for people that get a DWI. And then I thought, well, that wouldn't record. Maybe it would record just the driver's face, but I don't think it records sound, right? So I thought, well, that couldn't be what it was. But what if it's just a video game? What if it's just a telephone? He was playing some kind of game, and or he was taking pictures, and there's a lot of things that it could have been that were, even though it was in the cab of the car, he could have hand carried it. Could have been a device that he was carrying around himself. So, yeah, the interviewer talks to them as if they're small children. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Valerie Dobson, good to see you. Sweet Pea, how are you? Maybe it was a GoPro. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of possibilities in the year 2024 for sure. GoPro does catch sound. He got into the front when they left. Well, Patty, listen, honey, if you just got here, please go back to the beginning, because your eyes are not going to believe this. Like, you're not going to believe it. So go back and watch it. I hope everybody who's here now, I got to leave, but everybody who is here now, please go back to the beginning. It's not very long for me to get to the meat and potatoes. And then we've done a lot of talking after. So go back to the beginning and your jaw's going to hit the ground. Well, mine did. My jaw hit the ground. So that is our little morsel of true crime snack. And I will be back. It's not going to be today. I've got 11 people on my schedule today. So I won't be back today to do the second Intersect. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I have plenty of time to do my second Intersect. Okay. And until then, please go back, watch this, share it, get your home channels to discuss it, because this one's going to be real hard to ignore. Y'all have a wonderful.
And a bird that channels. Sinister grifters with a snake oil grin, voracious virtue signalers cashing in. False PIs, they're fixing the game, pointing fingers, but they're all the same. Innocent creators, moms with a cause, digging through the chaos, exposing the flaws. We're hunting for clues, untwisting the lies. Who's driving this shit show straight to demise? Convertibles roaring, cliffs in sight, like Thelma and Louise on a forever ride. They sail into YouTube fame, the crash is in sight. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels in the dust. Or it'll burn their channels in the dust. Dust. That'll burn their channels in the dust. That'll burn their channels in the dust. Dust. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. It's in the dust. That'll burn their channels. What's in the dust? The dust. The dust. The dust. We're all on the ride, no brakes, no trust. Popularity is the spark that'll burn their channels in the dust. Dust.